So for our module on Buddhist art and architecture, we have been looking at a lot of aniconic artworks, meaning that there were no images of Buddha in human form, and that aniconicism ends in the 1st century BCE. And historians refer to this breaking or change of visual traditions as the beginning of the iconic period, in which Buddha is shown in human form, or the anthropomorphic. That's a fancy word for a creature with human characteristics. So anthropomorphic form. We continue to see iconography that we've learned about before to represent Buddha and his teachings, but the question should be, why? Why all of a sudden, after 500 years, in the 1st century BCE, do we start to see images of Buddha in human form? Now, historians and theologians have an idea. The reason for avoiding human representations of the Buddha in those early centuries may have centered on the fact that Buddha had lived 550 lifetimes before he achieved nirvana. And nirvana is that liberation from the cycle of karmic rebirth. So Buddha had lived 550 lifetimes and was now free of human form. Why would you want to put the sacred figure of Buddha back into a human form? So we can see the aniconic choices as being a stronger connection to the historical Buddha, the Buddha that existed, the Buddha that was a prince, the Buddha that had achieved enlightenment and nirvana. What we start to see in the 1st century BCE, we can credit with the spread of Buddhism, that the Buddhist beliefs had changed as it modified over the centuries, and Buddha became deified, that he had become godlike, and his devotees were giving a new focus to the ritual practices of shrines and monasteries. And so a human form is more conducive to those ritualistic practices, and the idea of the human God, the deified, the divine Buddha. So we start to see the human form as Buddhism's beliefs modify and change and spread. This idea of the spread of Buddhism, I've shown you this map before, but I want you to again see it in terms of how it relates to the iconic period. Because with the spread, we have more people, more ideas, more languages, more heritages, more conversions that need to adapt to the Buddhist faith. And with those adaptions, well, we have then different expressions of Buddhism in art. So we're going to be looking again just at the South Asian Indian peninsula for our module today. But it's helpful to realize that the spread of Buddhism will also then influence the changes in Buddhist art when we go into East Asia and we look at Buddhism in China. With our look at this region during the iconic period, we're going to be looking at 2 different styles. We're going to be looking at the Mathura style and the Gandhara style. And we're going to look at 2 Buddhas that are remarkably similar and yet very different than what we've been experiencing in the aniconic period of Buddhist art.